Good day, everyone, and welcome to How to Submit a UEDA Awards of Excellence application. This is a webinar designed to provide support to institutions considering submitting an application for the 2019 UEDA Awards of Excellence program. My name is Frank Satil, and I am the Deputy Director of Ueda, and will be serving as your MC for today's webinar. The Awards of Excellence recognizes leading-edge initiatives in the university-based economic development and encourages their adoption among UEDA members. Before we begin, I just want to have you keep a few items in mind. If you have a question, please use the questions feature in the right column of your GoToWebinar control panel. We'll have an opportunity to answer some of your questions at the end of our presentation. If for some reason you are having any technical difficulties, you can use the chat feature also in the right column, and we will try to address those as they arise, if they arise. Everybody will be on mute, except for our presenters throughout today's webinar. Information about the Awards of Excellence program can be found at the URL awards.universityeda.org. The deadline this year is May 3rd, 2019. We'll get to more about this when we discuss eligibility. And today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on the UEDA website and YouTube channel within the next few days. So I'd like to give you a little bit of background about UEDA for those of you who may not know. Established in 1976, UEDA is North America's membership organization that brings together public and private higher education, private sector, public agencies, and community economic development stakeholders engaged in economic development pursuits. UEDA's members work to expand economic opportunity and prosperity in our communities and regions by leveraging education and talent development, research and technology development, and community building and placemaking strategies. Our members include institutions of higher education, economic developers, and the for-profit sector, all of who are working to improve the competitiveness of their regions. Through news and information and public policy, educational programming, and best practice sharing, UEDA works to expand economic opportunity in our communities by leveraging research, community and campus planning, talent development, and technology commercialization. The association is continuing with several important initiatives for 2019, and here are a few highlights. Higher education engagement in economic development, foundations for strategy and practice, or simply the foundations, which defines the roles of institutions of higher ed in economic development. This important initiative has moved into phase 2, which is focused on metrics and measurement. We are continuing implementation of our CRM system, which will help build the foundation for our online presence. We have great ideas in store for this tool and will enhance member engagement and drive collaboration. This includes the recent launch of the My Ueda system with more features and functionality to come. The 2018 awards program was the first to feature the new Ueda brand, which we are very excited about, and we continue to expand the rollout of. You may have recently seen our latest debut of our new Intersection newsletter, which is our members only newsletter, which has been made available to everyone for the first few editions. And lastly, we continue our major effort to grow and diversify our membership base to further our mission to advance knowledge and practice in economic engagement by all institutions of higher education. For more information about UEDA, including information on how to join, please visit our website at www.universityeda.org. We're very happy that you've joined us today, and without further delay, I will introduce today's presenters. Beginning with Margot Fliss from the University of Alaska Anchorage Center for Economic Development. She is our 2019 Awards of Excellence Committee Chair. Margot is also a current UEDA board member. Also joining us today are Michelle Elliott and Sam Perrin, both from the University of Georgia. Michelle and Sam are 2018 Awards of Excellence winners in the place category. I'd like to thank you all for being with us today. And just another reminder to submit your questions in the panel, and we will attempt to answer as many as possible. I will now turn the presentation over to Margot.
Thank you, Frank. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from today. I'm really pleased that you could join us for this webinar on the Ueda Awards of Excellence program. The purpose of this webinar is really to help you prepare and formulate your submissions for a Ueda Award of Excellence. We will discuss the awards process, including eligibility, categories, judging criteria, timeline, and finalist presentations. This webinar, as Frank has mentioned, will also provide an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. It should last less than an hour. Both awards finalists and winners receive benefits from the Awards of Excellence program. So there's benefits even if you apply and do not become a finalist. Some participants in the program have received things like recognition from their peers, validation that the initiative is novel and impactful, expanded access to grants and funding. I know that's often a big one for many of us. And the recognition and validation really provides a lot of credibility for new or sustaining funding requests. Enrollment, this often spurs enrollment because students or faculty want to be part of an engaged institution. Additional partners, it often lets others know how they can engage with your institution or program. And reputation, the institution is meaningfully engaged in economic development activities. Perhaps the best way to express the benefits of the program is to hear from some recent winners. Michelle Elliott and Sam Perrin are 2018 Awards of Excellence winners in the talent category. Michelle and Sam, if you could please say a few quick words about participation in the program and how it has benefited you and the Archway Partnership program in the University of Georgia.
Sure, thank you, Margot. Just to give everyone a little bit of background, the Archway Partnership is a unit of public service and outreach at the University of Georgia. We connect Georgia communities to the full range of higher education resources available at the university to address critical community identified needs. Pulaski County is one of 13 communities selected for the Archway Partnership since the program began in 2005. And so we actually presented on a project in Pulaski County at the Awards of Excellence event last year. And that project was a partnership with Taylor Regional Hospital in Pulaski County, Georgia. The hospital was facing dire financial straits, was really on the verge of having to close like so many rural hospitals around the country. And they were also facing a federal requirement to conduct a community health needs assessment. So we were able to step in and to partner with them and with the College of Public Health at the University of Georgia to conduct that community health needs assessment for them. Through that process, they identified the need for an urgent care express care center in the community, which has now been opened and has dramatically improved the hospital's financial situation, drastically reduced the number of emergency room visits, and leading to better patient outcomes. So that was the project. And as far as our experience there last year, it was just so wonderful, like Margot said, to get to hear from experts all over the country that are dealing with ways to connect communities to the economic development resources of universities. I think we got a lot of great ideas, and it was just inspiring to hear from so many folks that are working on these issues around the country. And as far as benefits to us back home, it's been a great recognition for the work that we do to show our community partners the value of partnering with an organization like us, and to be able to show them different ideas of ways they could get involved and use that and leverage that relationship. Michelle, anything to add there?
Sure, I 100% agree with you, Sam, that the experience was really an opportunity to learn from your peers and also get some recognition across the state and through the university. For me, another important takeaway from the experience was the thought process of learning how to quantify the impact of your work in a community. I think so much of the time we're focused on the beneficiaries of our work, and we don't stop to think about the actual impact that we're having. So I think it's a great exercise to begin to think about exactly how you're going to quantify the impact that you have in communities that you work in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle and Sam. I remember your presentation last year. I thought it was fantastic. And I remember specifically, I was there with a few colleagues and we were talking about doing needs assessments. It's something we've done a little bit of, but listening to you really sparked our interest and thought we need to go chat with them and figure out more about the great work that they're doing. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thanks, Marga.
Now that excuse me. Now that we've heard why participation in the awards program is so beneficial, let's take a look at some important dates for the Awards of Excellence program. So May 3rd is our nomination deadline. Around July 1st is our finalist notification. Late August, early September is when we do another teleconference webinar with the finalists to help them prepare for their awards presentations. The Ueda Annual Summit is going to be September 30th and October 1st in Reno. And the awards banquet is on October 1st in the evening. So continuing for 2019, non-Ueda members may nominate one project or initiative for a $200 application fee per entry. Ueda members, however, may nominate multiple projects at no cost. That's part of the value of our Ueda membership. Your initiative or project should be at least 24 months old. And, you know, this is just kind of a guideline. If your initiative is not yet completed or if it was started after July 1st of 2017, it should be at a stage where significant progress has been made and actual benefits could be measured or anticipated. This will make your application more competitive. Just as Michelle said, taking the time to really look at the impacts of your program or initiative and how those can be measured, that's incredibly compelling in an application. You can resubmit an initiative or project that you have possibly submitted before if it has not already won a Ueda Award of Excellence. If your project was a finalist, for example, and you would like to resubmit, your application really needs to show new and significant results that it did not have when you were a finalist previously. You can submit more than one project. In fact, we actually encourage it. There is no limit on the number of projects, just on the length of your application. We're going to talk about our new application in just a little bit here. Non-Ueda members must pay an application fee for each entry. However, as we said already, if you join Ueda, that restriction will be lifted. All Awards of Excellence nominees will also have the opportunity to expand the recognition and exposure of their work through an Editor's Choice Award in an upcoming Ueda publication. All nominations for the Awards of Excellence program will also be shared and be considered for an Editor's Award in each category. Ueda's framework for higher education engagement and economic development foundations, which Frank mentioned a little bit earlier. We just wanted to talk really briefly about that. And for more information, you can go to our website, foundations.universityeda.org, if you wanted to look at this a little more in depth. In 2015, Ueda jointly published Higher Education Engagement and Economic Development Foundations for Strategy and Practice, along with the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities Commission on Competitiveness, Innovation, and Economic Prosperity. This groundbreaking document sets forth a common definition, which we think is so huge, for university economic development and engagement. It has a set of principles to guide economic development and engagement in higher education, and really offers a taxonomy of programs to assist practitioners and higher education officials in understanding and communicating what constitutes the full spectrum of university-based economic development. And as I mentioned, we have that on our website. It's a really interesting read. We've moved into phase 2, as Frank mentioned. So for more information, go ahead and check out our website. So now we're going to get into the 6 award categories. As you'll see, we have talent, talent and innovation, innovation, innovation and place, place, and place plus talent. Talent includes a spectrum of knowledge transfer activities by which universities educate people, develop human capital for the 21st century knowledge economy. This includes things like lifelong learning, degree and non-degree programs, experiential education, and discovery-based learning programs, an active alignment of curricula to meet industry needs. Talent and innovation. This category looks at projects and initiatives that connect talent and innovation to create innovators of many kinds, business entrepreneurs, idea or product makers, and problem solvers. Entrepreneurship education projects and initiatives, and experiential learning projects and initiatives to connect students with entrepreneurs are just two great examples of the types of projects that would fit into the talent and innovation category. Again, focusing on people and innovation. Innovation begins with basic research, then builds on knowledge creation to encompass knowledge transfer and application in ways that are useful and relevant to society. The innovation category encompasses basic research, applied research, translational and problem-oriented research, and industry-contracted R&D. Cooperative extension services, technology transfer, all those kind of things fit within the innovation category. The innovation and place category looks at the synergistic connection between innovation and place. So the creation of physical places that attract and build concentration of talent and innovators and knowledge communities. So this could be construed as either a specific site, such as a university research and technology park, an incubator, accelerator, something to that effect, or a large community or region, such as an innovation district. The place category is defined as the many and diverse ways in which institutions contribute to making attractive, competitive communities. You know, places where people really want to live, create, take jobs, raise their families, participate in civic life, age, and retire. Competitive, successful communities and regions are attentive to a number of different things, such as health, education, environment, housing, safety, and entertainment needs of community members. Campuses and sites like research parks are components of placemaking, but the focus of this definition is a little bit broader on the communities or regions. Our final category is talent and place, and obviously this category is going to look at where talent and place intersect in ways that enrich discourse, promote civic participation, and otherwise really enhance the quality of a place. Just a few examples are K-12 improvement partnerships, local government training institutes, and higher education involvement in regional government, economic development organizations, and community and wellness projects. So now we are on to our judging criteria. I know that's always one of the first questions everybody has. What are we going to be judged on? So you can see the breakdowns there. There's 5 different things: originality and creativity, impact, demonstration of excellence in leadership, collaboration, and strategic partnerships, replicability, scalability, and sustainability, and then overall. So we're going to go into those a little bit more in depth now. Originality and creativity. So we want to know, does the nominated project or initiative make a new or original contribution in this particular category? Is it introducing a new innovative way of thinking or doing something? Is it the type of project that can be used to expand Ueda's new foundational document? Or does it represent an important new innovation in the way a more established type of project or initiative operates? For example, including non-traditional partnerships, new modes of service delivery, altering established incentive structures, or establishing new measurement and tracking systems. So those are all different examples of, you could have something that's totally new and creative, or maybe you are changing the way that things have been done for quite a long time. And what we're really looking at are, what are the unique project objectives, structure, approach, strategy, and results. It's great when those are all really clearly laid out in the application. And one of the biggest things is, how is your project different or similar to other initiatives? What helps you differentiate yourself? Impact. Does the applicant have a clear, logical plan to achieve your intended impact? And do you track progress towards achieving this impact? As Michelle mentioned earlier, going through this process, and I had a similar experience when I went through the process, really does allow you to take a step back and say, how are we tracking the impact of this program, not only on those participating, but on maybe our community, our region, our state, things like that. And those are great to lay out in the application. Do you provide quantitative metrics that demonstrate the project or initiative has had a significant economic development or engagement impact, or at least partially? So what we're really looking at is, what are you tracking to really demonstrate the impacts of your program? So our next judging criteria: leadership, collaboration, and strategic partnerships. Do you talk about how relevant stakeholders were identified, consulted, and engaged in your project conception and implementation phase? Does the project demonstrate the institution's role as a leader or convener in developing and implementing a project that addresses a regional need? Does your project involve partnerships with a host of different people, including regional economic developers, government, business, industry, nonprofits, other institutions of higher education, and other relevant collaborations? And were these partnerships well described? And did the partnerships really help increase the size, scope, or impact of the project? So we not only want to know how you are leading, but also the collaborations and partnerships that have helped make your initiative possible, and kind of the process you went through to establish and continue to nurture those partnerships. Replicability, scalability, and sustainability. And I will say I've been to 3 Ueda summits now, and this is always one of the first questions that comes up for almost every presentation. We have members from across the United States and even a few international, and people always want to know, how would this work where I live? So what we want to know through the application process is, can the insights, tools, and best practices from your project or initiative be duplicated by other institutions in other regions that might look vastly different than your own? Can it be easily scaled up or down and otherwise modified to reflect different regional or institutional contexts? And does the initiative has a business model that can sustain the initiative beyond its initial funding? And our last judging criteria is overall. And we will say that this is subjective. It is, as we mentioned, colleagues from across the United States who are really coming to hear your presentation, to learn from you, and hopefully ask some great questions. And this is a very subjective judging criteria for the judges and the summit participants. And they're really scoring based on their individual opinions. A part of this is often the finalist presentation, the quality of the finalist presentation, and the presenter's responsiveness to questions. That's something that often plays a large role in the overall score. So all applications can now be submitted online, which is very exciting for us. The UEDA team has done excellent work to really get this application portal up and ready to go. And I think we have, Frank might have a little more information and a screenshot of what that's going to look like.
I do, Margot. Excuse me just a moment. Here we go. So this is what you'll see when you go to the web address on the previous slide. If I'll put it back up there so everybody can take a look. You will be taken to our application portal, which is a lot more user-friendly than filling out a Word document as in the past. And what's great about this is that the portal will accept submissions for summit workshops, summit lightning rounds, which were a very big hit last year in Milwaukee, and also the awards of excellence. And now this is just a static screenshot, but if you go to the site, you'll have opportunity to enter your information into fields, and you will progress through a step-by-step process that will allow you to attach files. And you can also download the worksheets which you can fill out ahead of time before you go to the online form so that you're prepared. You don't have to chase around cutting and pasting different things. You have the worksheet. If you complete that first, then you can just transpose that into the form, and it's going to make the submission process much easier and much more efficient. So that being said, we'd like to remind you that this year's summit is in Reno, Tahoe, actually in Reno specific at the Whitney Peak Hotel, and it begins on September 29th and runs through October 2nd. Awards of Excellence presentations will begin on the 30th and conclude on the 1st, with the winners being presented at the banquet on the evening of October 1st. So now is the time for questions, and we've had a couple come in. I'll start with the first one, which relates to the portal, and it's asking, with the new application portal, I have the ability to apply for multiple parts of the summit. So as you noted, as you were able to see, that you could apply for a workshop presentation, you could do an award, or you could do a lightning round. This person wants to know, why should I not just apply for each one? Well, we appreciate your excitement about presenting at the summit, but as I mentioned, the key function of the portal is to make the process more efficient, both for the applicant and for the staff. So if an applicant was to apply in all three sections, that would create a little bit of chaos for the staff whenever they go to evaluate submissions. So it would cause problems keeping track, and we might have duplicates, and we might have a committee for the awards that is really excited about one, and then a committee for a lightning round that is excited about the same one, and that would cause a little bit of unnecessary scheduling conflicts and things like that. But generally, all of our committees are in close collaboration at all times. So if an award application comes in and the committee feels that it might be better suited to take the main stage as a full-blown workshop, they will recommend that. So our aim is to make sure that all submissions that are accepted are placed for the largest impact at the summit. Okay, we have another question. Can we start the application now and save it as we go through and then submit at the end? I believe that is the capability, but I would have to check on that. That's from Salehe. I will take a look at that just to verify and get you an answer that is more concrete. But I do believe that capability is built into the portal. And I have a third question. What happens if I am selected as a finalist and I am unable to attend the summit? We know things happen, schedules change. You're applying for an award that will have a presentation 6 months away. Well, we must have finalists present in person at the summit. There's simply no way around it. It's a special atmosphere being in the room when these presentations take place. Something that a remote presentation or a recorded presentation just can't duplicate, especially when it comes to the Q&A. Questions spur more questions, and the conversations continue. You leave the presentation, you continue the conversation outside or in a break from other sessions, and it's just something that can't be replicated. So we must have people in person. If you find that you have a conflict and you're unable to attend, you can certainly send another member of your initiative team to present in your stead. That is perfectly acceptable. So I believe that's all the questions we've got. I do have a little bit of a recap of the important dates. As we mentioned, May 3rd is the deadline for nominations. Right around July 1st, finalists will be notified. Again, late August, early September, we will be holding a separate webinar that focuses directly on how to present your best effort at the summit. And then, your presentations will take place on the 30th and the 1st. And October 1st in the evening will be the banquet where the winners are chosen or presented. Now, one more benefit I'd like to express. We have a great webinar series from Jim Waddell. Many of you know Jim. He's a great collaborator with Ueda, a lot of years at APLU. He's presenting a webinar series on talent, innovation, and place. And if you had seen the first one on talent a few weeks back, it was wonderful. I highly recommend signing up for the innovation and place webinars, which are coming up in April 9th, I believe, and April 30th. There on your screen. These are presented in a format like a call-in show, and Jim does a great job hosting. He has a panel, and it's a rapid fire kind of interactive, and he involves the audience as well. And you use interactive tools like WooClap to answer questions and submit to polls, and it's really one of the best webinars I've seen. So I really encourage you to do that. And all of Ueda's upcoming webinars are available for registration at ueda.eventbrite.com. And just a reminder that Ueda members enjoy free or discounted access to all of our webinars. So if you are not yet a Ueda member, you can sign up for Jim's webinars absolutely free. If you are a non-member, they would cost you $50. So just another perk and value add to becoming a Ueda member. Please consider it. And with that, Margot, if you have nothing else to add, I think we are at the conclusion.